So this video will show how to generate Javadoc using Javadoc feature from Eclipse. For this purpose, we're going to create a new project. So File, New Project, and let's give it a name, Javadoc. Hit Finish. Expand your project and right-click, add a new package. And we're going to call it application. And then right-click on the application package, create a new Java class. And I'm just going to call it app. And let's hit insert main method and finish. Okay, so for this purpose, we're just going to create a really simple application. And I'm going to remove all of the comments because I want to show you how we can generate them using the Javadoc automatic generation of comments. So for this class, we're going to create, let's say, two attributes. One will start with public integer A, and then public integer B. Then I'm going to add one method that does the summation, which is A plus B. So this is going to be my public method, returning an integer, and it's taking two integers, integer X and Y. And basically it's just returning X plus Y. Summation. So let's call this up. So this is my project. The next thing we want to do is add comments. So we always start with adding a header comments, a header documentation at the beginning of every Java class. And in order to do that, what we can do is basically just right click outside of the class declaration. So right in here, right click, and then select source and generate element comment. So as long as you do this outside of the class, you would get the following documentation. This is the tag that Javadoc is eventually going to use to generate a really nice HTML documentation similar to the Java API you see on different libraries. So the first thing that it's going to insert is the add author, which is the name of the author. You can also insert something like add version, which is the version of the software that you're trying to release. And if you look at it, as soon as you put add, it will give you all of the keywords or the different tags that you can use. So we're just going to be using a couple of them. You can go ahead and look at the other tags as well. All you need to do is really Google for Javadoc tags. So this is version, let's say 1.0 of my software. And then add again. Let's see. Okay, we're just gonna stick to this one over here, and I'm just gonna put the date right before the add author, and date is October 15th. Okay, so now I have Javadocs comments that are at the top of the class, and they basically represent what this class is all about. So we can also say this is a simple application. So just put some information about the application that you're trying to create. This is a simple application for adding two integers. Okay, now next thing we want to do is add Javadoc comments for the attributes. So now once you're inside the class, before this attribute, the first attribute, again, you right click, source, and generate element comment. Oops. We actually have to do it after the semicolon. So after the semicolon, right click, source, and generate element comment. And that would give you a really simple comment or documentation for each of these identifiers. And right over here, we can specify some description about this attribute. So I'm going to say integer value for first number. And I'll do the same thing for the next one. Again, right click somewhere right after the semicolon for the second one. Go to right click source and then generate element comment, and similar comment over here. So this is my integer value representing the second number. So first, second. Okay, and you can actually provide more details about it. Now for the methods, it's much nicer because it's going to give you a bunch of other information. So for this reason, somewhere inside the method, so again, make sure you're inside the method, you're clicking inside the method. So somewhere inside that method, right click and source, generate element comment. And as soon as you do that, you will get 3 Javadoc tags. Two of them that are for the parameters. Since we have 2 parameters, we have x and y, we get 2. And then we have an add return, which is for the return value. If your method doesn't return anything, you would not get the add return. You can go ahead and try that yourself. So right before explaining what x, y, and return values are, we can hit insert and start writing something, a description about the method itself. So this method adds x and y and returns the integer result. Okay, make sure this description comes right before any of the Javadoc tags. If you put this description after the tags, you would not be able to see it. So for now, let's just keep this as a rule of thumb. Then the next one is the parameter x, and the way you append more information to it is by saying parameter x first int value. So just put some information for the reader what this value is. Second one is second int value passed to this method, and then the add return explains basically returning integer value result from x plus y. So this explains what the return value is. So now we can repeat this for every single method that we have. Let's try it for the main method because it's a little bit challenging in the sense that it's got a bunch of other um, keywords to declare it. So again, somewhere inside the main method, right click and source and generate element comment. Okay, so as I said, since we have a void method, we do not get the add return tag, and that's what we were expecting. And right before you start talking about all of the tags, provide a description for the method. So the main, so this is the main method of this application. And then the parameters is the value, the name of the parameter that you see over here. You can explain the type and what this is really used for. So we say array of string arguments. And we don't have any return, so we can just leave it as is. Okay, so now we've got all of the required Java comments that explain the 2 methods I have in this class and the 2 attributes, as well as some information at the beginning. So the next thing we want to do is save this project, and now we're going to head to the next feature, which is a Java jar library. It's a library that already comes with Eclipse. If you don't have it, you would need to add it as an external library, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the next thing we want to do is basically create an HTML page that explains, just like the way Java APIs are, explains what this class is with the exactly same look and feel that you are familiar with compared to other Java APIs. So the next thing we want to do is go to Project, and then click on Generate Javadoc. So this is going to automatically generate our HTML Java documentation. And once you get over here, it's going to ask which project you want to create Javadoc for it. So select the right project. And then inside here, the Javadoc command, this has to point to where your javadoc.executable is, which is usually within your JDK package within the bin folder. So we're going to go ahead and try to find that. If you have Mac, laptop or other configurations, you would have to know where your JDK is saved. So in order to do that, we go to configure, and then for me, my JDK is saved under C. Usually this is the case for everyone, so as long as you have Windows machine, you should be able to find it under the same path. And then program files, and then Java. Make sure you go to JDK and not JRE. So if you don't have JDK, you gotta install that. So JDK, this is the version I'm using. Go ahead and use the latest version you have. And within there, inside JDK, go to bin. So you see this is my path. My path is right here, which is C, program files, Java, JDK, bin. Now once you're inside bin, look for javadoc.executable. So this is the file we want, javadoc.exe. Open, and this is the path that we just went through. Okay. Then the next thing is gonna ask us, so do you want to create Javadoc for members with what kind of visibility? And we can say with private, protected, or public. And usually we say with public because we only want to publish documentation about our code where things can be used by other developers. So public scope is the only visibility that's mostly popular on API. So let's go ahead and select that. Then you come down to here, which is a destination. So every Javadoc you create would be saved somewhere. And usually where you want to save it, it has to be within your Java project. So I'm going to go and pick that and really just place it inside my workspace. So I will have to look for my Eclipse workspace, whatever I save this project. So that's probably going to be under C. So it's usually under C and then Eclipse workspace. Okay, it seems that my project is not really saved under my workspace. So just make sure you go and find the path where your actual Java application, Java project is saved. So for me, it happens to be under this path. So this is really where my Javadoc application is. So I'm just going to keep it as is. Make sure again public is pointed. The Javadoc project, the project you want to create documentation for, is selected. And make sure your javadoc.exe file is configured right. Then hit finish. Yes to all. And as soon as you're done, you would see a new folder, which is just like a normal Windows folder created under your Javadoc. So this is why I was asking for the path, because it's going to dump all of the files in here. And as soon as you expand this, you would see a bunch of HTML files. And the file that we're really interested to see is this one, index.html. So by default, it's going to pick this name. When you double click on it, it opens it under Eclipse. So it's really an HTML page, a web page that represents all of the classes that you had in your project that we just created Javadoc for them. So my class was called app.java. When I click on it, I see all of the information that I gave through Javadoc tags. So for example, I had two modifiers, two fields or attributes, A and B, integers. This is the comment I wrote using the Javadoc format. And then I have two methods. There is the main method, and there is also my sum method. And if you click on the sum method, for instance, you will get all of the other attributes, all of the properties that you provided using Javadoc comments. So X and Y, this is really my comment that I provided after the at param. And the return value, same thing for every single method that you added documentation for. If you want to view this file, it's an HTML file, so you should be able to view it on Chrome or any other internet browser. Basically, you can do that by just dragging and dropping it into your Chrome. which is basically just an HTML web page.